Your body is absorbing it and it's creating. Do you use sunscreen?
Heck no, but I have.
Yeah, me too. So, and do you have any sunscreen?
No.
No. Okay.
I have
so
an
I do have
article
sunscreen.
from EWG pulled up though that has all kinds of fun ingredients and sunscreen.
Yeah, no. I do have some sunscreen, but I find that, and I take it to the beach, whatever, because I'm here in Florida, and I really honestly refuse to put it on, and I don't honestly need it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I had a thought this morning before I even got on with you, and here's my thought.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis says that God made the sun, and God made the moon, and God made the earth, and God made man, and God made woman.
Mm.
So if the sun is what's causing us cancer, that means that God intentionally created something that would make us sick.
Which doesn't seem quite appropriate for his children, does it now?
Yeah. So let's
I don't think that, yeah.
Perspective. I can't imagine that the sun was ever what would make us sick. And if you go do some research, you'll see that lovely Al Gore, who created the whole climate change paranoia in the world anyway, was completely wrong about everything he said. And the ozone's fine and we're fine, but they still push this climate change agenda. So the sun is good for you. You need to get it in your eyes. You need to get it on your skin. Now, granted, you don't want to be out in the sun all the time where you're getting sun poison, but if you get sun incrementally every day, your body, your pigmentation builds up a resistance to the burn, right? And you can be out it longer and longer each time because you build up the resistance. You're absorbing what you need.
You are, and I mean, and we both know it's a great way to get vitamin D. But even me in Florida, I mean, to get vitamin D, you also have to have most of your body exposed to the sun to be able to do that. And even me in Florida, I have to supplement. There's no way. And I think there's other things that are just taking away from that vitamin D. But the other thing that I had heard before, and I went researching last night on, is it's not just building it up on your skin, but it's taking, and I found this happened to me. As I changed my diet and I got rid of seed oils, and I heard this a while ago, and I'm like, ding, ding, that's why I don't get burned anymore. And hello, I am from European descent. I have Irish in me. I have German and English. My father would get sunburned all the time. He had all kinds of skin cancer. And I do not believe that it's totally from the sun. And I'll tell you why on that too. But the seed oils actually create a situation where your body is absorbing it and it's creating you to get sunburned. So when I cleaned up my eating, I don't get sunburned anymore.
I actually found a post from a guy in Australia about that very thing, and I put it on my Instagram stories the other day. I'll see if I can find it, and we'll link it.
Yeah, I have a longer form video too of a guy explaining it all. So I'll link that as well. Yeah. Because he's done a lot of, I don't know who he is, but he did a lot of, he said he's done a lot of videos on some of the seed oils and whatnot. And so I actually took, because there were, and we can harp on seed oils because they be bad. They really be bad. And so they mentioned a couple of ones that I don't always mention. They call them the hateful eight. That's what I think it was in this guy's video. But it's canola, corn, cottonseed, soy, sunflower, safflower, grapeseed, and rice bran were the hateful eight. And I was like, interesting, because I do agree with all of those. Rice bran I hadn't really heard lumped in there. So
I've seen that in a lot of
it's not
lately, rice bran oil.
I haven't, I haven't even seen it to use, but here's what's interesting. Some of these that I just mentioned, they're in your sunscreen.
They use
canola. So think about that.
So many things outside of food. I've seen it in the sunflower oils. Yeah.
Sunflower, safflower, and they sound great, right? Because they are, vegetables. So sort of.
Do you have any sunscreens that you can look at while we're on this video?
I don't. I mean, the one that I have used recently, and I don't really want to endorse them.
No. I don't want to endorse any sunscreen. I'm just curious.
Yeah, no.
The ingredient list.
So there's two different types of sunscreens. There's the mineral, and then there's the chemical ones. Okay. So the mineral ones are the ones that I know we've talked about, and I think you were looking at maybe even trying to create some type of sunscreen with your business, which I think would be amazing. Yeah. Because the oil that you would use might be tallow, maybe
that's the idea.
Something else, but it would be clean. It would be clean. So the difference is the mineral is using the zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, and that's gonna it's gonna give a more pasty white tint to your skin. Sometimes there are some that don't do that. So finding those that don't, and I know that one that was mentioned that I haven't used, I haven't tried, but I do plan to, have it available at least, because usually what happens is my husband is using the sunscreen or my daughter. It's usually the people with me. It's not usually me. And we were out in the sun at, 11 to 12:30, 1 o'clock, which is high prime time for being burned. I didn't get burned. I did not get burned. It looked like I was getting, maybe too much sun, but then I didn't peel. And that's the other thing they talked about, was that the seed oils creates the issue with peeling, because the toxins are coming to the top and it's creating that peel.
Well, that would explain why Tyler peeled the last time we got burned and I didn't.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, because if you're eating out a lot, you are going to be ingesting seed oils. There's just like no two ways about it. It's just going to happen. So, I mean, if you can minimize that and control it with what you're eating at home, then,
Yeah, we actually found some, because he likes his corn chips and stuff like that. We found some that are using palm oil instead of the other seed oils, which they recommend above and beyond a seed oil. So he's been, and he did find a potato chip that he likes that's fried in avocado oil. So he's definitely moving much further away from seed oils. But like, we went to dinner last night for Taco Tuesday and seed oils were all in our food. So you really have to be.
But it's like one time, a couple of times, it's not going to affect you. It's just like, every day. I call it being human. You go out to eat. That it happens. You're going to go out to eat. I've been out to eat too many times lately. And I was on vacation some last week, and we ended up going out to eat more than maybe I wanted to. And did I have things that maybe I wouldn't normally have? Yes, I did. So it's called being human. But then when I come home, I'm right back to, eating the way that I like to eat, being more controlled. Can it shoot you off, off on a roller coaster ride? Yeah, it can. And it could for me too, especially with sugar. So, but these are the things when you clean up.
I will endorse.
You're not burned.
There is an app, and it is called the Seed Oil Scout. And because we're harping on seed oils right now for sun exposure, if you live in an area that's very sunny, you're going to be out all the time, right? Like, we are in California, and even though it's not sunny right now, we love being outside, and we have friends and family that want to go out and do things and sit outside and enjoy the weather and have food or whatever. So this app is really cool, and you do have to pay for it. It's like $35 a year, but they literally, and you can see, I live in Southern California, so you can see all the exit or all the greens are actually companies that use things other than seed oils. All the reds
awesome.
and the yellows are, you know, eat at your own risk, blah, blah, blah. But you always will have a non-seed oil option. And California is, of course, going to be on the threshold of removing seed oils, because aside from having horrible politics, we definitely have a health conscious community here. So
you do, more so than most states, I think.
Right.
Colorado, I think, does
and
too.
so you get up into Los Angeles,
excuse me,
all these that have stars in them have no seed oils on the premises at all. So
that's amazing.
this is a really cool app if you are looking for places to go eat and you want to make sure you can avoid seed oils. I would highly recommend this app, because they literally reach out to these companies, these restaurants, and have them confirm or deny if they're using seed oils. And, you know, if they're not telling you the truth, these companies will get reported. So I trust this website. They've gone above and beyond to find healthy options for people to get them out of the seed oil world. So I would definitely recommend that if you're not sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good one. I need to look at getting that for my area and just see if there's any around here. I have no idea.
Oh yeah.
Because
they don't go to, there's going to be plenty of restaurants that aren't on the app, small mom and pop places, and you're going to have to ask regardless, but they're hitting up a lot.
Absolutely. And they don't know, because I know that a lot of times I will take my own oil. If I know I'm going to have a salad, or even if I don't know, you know, I'm going to have a salad, I may take a small bottle of oil with me to use, because a lot of the salad dressings, even in Italian restaurants where you think they're using all olive oil, they're not. They're cutting it because, well, one, we have Bidenomics right now where everything is so expensive, and they can't afford to do that and just give, you know, straight olive oil, but they'll cut it with a seed oil. And you can ask them, and a lot of the wait staff will not know. And what I will tell them, and it's true, is that, you know, I have a food sensitivity, and I need to know, is it straight up olive oil or not? And they're like, I think so, but let me check. And they'll come back and they're like, it's not, I can't believe it.
Like 90% of the time.
So yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the thing. The other thing with, and I know we're going off the rails with the seed oil, and that's okay. But the seed oil is, what they're saying, is also probably the major cause for skin cancer.
Yes.
That was in the video that I watched too. That, and all levels of skin cancer, not just, you know, basal cell, all the way to melanoma.
That is
so. Think about it. You know, you have control over that area. You can control that. So just something to think about. And
consider the idea that you're using seed oils, you're ingesting seed oils on a consistent basis, especially if you eat the standard American diet, or if you're in another country and you're eating a lot of fried foods. Odds are you're eating seed oils. Then on top of that, you have, you know, the world governments telling you that the sun is dangerous because climate change is in full effect, and the ozone is so damaged, and the UV is so dangerous for you, and all this other garbage. And so they've convinced you that you need to put sunblock on your skin. Well, if you went and looked at the sunblock that maybe is in your medicine cabinet, or maybe you've, you know, got it in your beach bag or whatever, and you read the ingredients on the back of that, you would be astonished and hopefully appalled at the ingredients that they're putting in your skincare. And these ingredients, especially in the US, are considered grass, which is generally regarded as safe, but they are not safe. And they give them that so that they can get away with putting it in their products. But many of the ingredients, and Sheri and I are big fans of an app or a company called EWG, which does they do third-party testing on many things to see if they're safe or not. And they're probably not always 100% right, but this article was written by EWG, the trouble with ingredients in sunscreens. This article was written, and they were doing they have a FDA proposed that 12 ingredients are not GRAS due to insufficient data. And all these ingredients are listed on here, some of which I've seen just looking at ingredients today since we've been on this call. And it says that they are still allowed to be put in the products until further research is done. Yeah. So,
but they're not generally regarded as safe. So think about that.
Right. And so it's like shop at your own risk, but we're just going to let these be on the shelf, you know.
Yeah.
But you don't know that the FDA has or hasn't approved these ingredients unless you go dig. And that's the part that's so bad. It's so impossible to find something natural on the shelf today. It's in mainstream grocery stores, drugstores or whatever. And the toxic chemicals. And here's one. They actually have a study in here that reported sunscreen and ingredients were detected in breast milk, urine, and blood plasma samples. So it's not only affecting your skin, it's affecting your baby. If you're breastfeeding, it's affecting your organs. So yeah.
A lot of them are endocrine disruptors.
Yes.
So they're disrupting your hormones.
Yes.
Which hormones are extremely important for your health. So it's it's not just, well, I've already gone through menopause, don't worry about that. I'm good. No, there's a lot of hormones. You have a lot of hormones.
You still make estrogen if you're post-menopause and you need estrogen in order to have good quality brain health. Estrogen is required to connect memories in your brain and keep your memory function proper and in good standing. And so if your hormones are disrupted and you're not producing any estrogen at all, which a lot of women think that because they've gone through menopause, they have no estrogen. That is not true. It just means you don't produce enough to have a baby. Okay. But you need that estrogen in order to maintain your memories. And if that is a key. If your hormones are disrupted and you're not producing any estrogen at all, Alzheimer's.
Yeah, and it's a fine balance too of those hormones. So you don't want them being disrupted because that can also create hot flashes. So
right.
It's all a balance there.
Right.
But yeah, Environmental Working Group, which is EWG, is an excellent source. It's ewg.org. Mm-hmm. And every year, I don't know if you found this, but every year they go out and they research all the sunscreens and tell you the best ones that are, don't have the toxins in them. So, go out there and look because they have that, and you can go and look and see which ones have less toxins. You can go to the grocery store and you can check certain ones to find out if is this a good one or not. But once you start looking, you can see, which ones are better.
Yeah.
You'll start to know the ingredients.
Yeah. They don't just do sunscreens. They do everything. Makeup, shampoo, soap. Like Sheri and I are both trying to find a really good shampoo right now because it's so hard.
Yeah. It's not easy.
So the main ingredient, the most toxic ingredient they say that's in sunscreen currently is called oxybenzone. So if you have oxybenzone in the sunscreen that you are using, it causes allergic skin reactions, behaves like a hormone disruptor, and may be more harmful to children as they are more susceptible to the effects of chemicals. And I was talking to my husband last night because we were talking about doing this podcast today. And I said, think about this. You have so many people who are coming out with skin cancer today, and we have been groomed since the sunscreen industry began that we needed to put sunscreen on ourselves and our children. How many people since they were babies have been putting sunblock on their babies, and these kids have grown up now and they're continuing to put sunblock on because they don't know any different. So they've just put these toxic chemicals in their skin for years, even if it's just during beach season. because they think they're protecting themselves. And all the while, that's the precursor for skin cancer, along with seed oil.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has seed oils in it. So I was one of those babies. And because I grew up in South Florida, I grew up on, I was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, and we lived in Miami, and we were in the Keys, and we were in the Bahamas, and I did boating my whole life. You know, from I was 2 weeks old, I was on boats. But yeah, my dad had all kinds of skin cancer. And I mean, he had skin cancer so bad. And he used all the sunscreens. And so, but he'd call them on his arm, he'd call them barnacles, because he just had so many of them. And he was at the hospital one time for a heart issue, and they were like worried about his skin. Like, what is that? You know, because he would put stuff on to take care of it. Like, he had to rub it on. It was like, there were so many of them. Yeah, so he had a lot cut off of him. But I mean, from the time that I can remember, he had 50 plus SPF on him always, you know, and he'd have the zinc, and, you know, because that's what he grew up with, is you put the zinc on your face. Yeah, so I mean, we grew up with sunscreen on us, absolutely. And the one thing I would say about SPF too is that 30 is really the max you need. From what my research, you don't need to go to 50 or more. You're not going to get anything more out of that. So, and then the other thing was sprays. They seem so great, you know, because they're so easy, and especially with kids, they're some of the worst, because, you know, the particle size is so small, you're also ingesting it, you know, into your lungs.
Oh yeah. How many times have you been able sunscreen spray? I can tell you, I have many times.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got into the sunscreen sprays. I didn't like them, but yeah, I've been around people when they've been using them, and, you know, and I'm educated, and they still are like,
yeah, I know.
Okay, whatever.
I know.
Go away from me.
Tyler and I were walking the beach back last month, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and I was so excited because I was actually getting sun on my skin. And his baby brother was there. He just graduated from college with a group of his buddies, and he came up and he gave us a big hug, and he had so much sunscreen on him. It was all I could smell for the rest of the day. I was like, oh my gosh, because there's so much fragrance in it too. And that's another thing that causes cancer.
There you go. So yeah. I mean, I probably said this before, but I'll sit out in the sun for like 15 minutes in the morning, and we're talking about 9 o'clock in the morning or so, and I do get like a small base tan. I started, you know, doing it with my shirt and shorts on, and then I realized I'm getting sun, and I have a farmer's tan, and this is weird. So I started putting my bathing suit on and getting, you know, more sun. But when I sit out there, you were talking about the sun and being healing, I'll sit out there and I thank God for the sun and the healing from the sun that he made. And that, you know, that I envision it healing every single cell of my body. So, you know, thank him for the sun, because it was from God, not God, these other sun worshipers.
Tyler and I went for a walk yesterday, and the sun wasn't really out. I mean, the clouds were over, and it was beautiful. It was, you know, really nice and cool out. And we went for a walk at like 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon before we met his parents for dinner, and we both came back with tans. So just because it's cloudy, you're still getting sun exposure, and it's recommended. I saw a naturopathic doctor in 2013 when we first moved to California. It was in Northern California at the time, and I started going to a naturopathic doctor, and she used to tell me all the time, go for a 30-minute walk between the hours of 10 and 2. That's when the sun is the best vitamin D you can get, and go for a 30-minute walk and expose your skin to the sun. So naturopathic functional medicine doctors understand how important the sun actually is for your body, for your mind, for your skin, for your organs, for everything. I just encourage you not to pay attention to these ridiculous reports that I saw a report after I saw that. I've seen a lot of natural social media influencers talking about the dangers of sunscreen, and I saw that the Washington Post or Wall Street Journal, I think it was, put an article out recently, and the headline on the article was, social media influencers say that sunscreen is causing cancer. They're wrong.
There is your answer right there.
Yeah.
if that's what you're saying. So yeah, you made me think about a couple different things. So yeah, here in Florida, you walk the beach and it's like all you smell is sunscreen.
Yeah.
When you're walking down the beach, because people are like lathered up. But Dr. McCullough had actually put out an article about getting in the sun, and he was one of the ones that I was like, I knew the sun was supposed to be good for me. It's like, this is an older article, but he was like, go out in the sun and expose as much of your body as you can, because you want to absorb as much as you can for that vitamin D level. And he said, don't stay out longer than, once you start getting a little pink, then go inside, or, put on a healthier sunscreen, which is your mineral based. And you can find some that are not going to make you pasty white. So just do your research on that. I don't want to really endorse any particular ones, but there are definitely mineral-based ones that you can get that go on clear, or they don't make you pasty white. So look into that and
look it up. I mean,
look it up and see what are the ones that they recommend, and then go out and research those particular ones and find out what people are saying about them. Does it make you pasty white, or whatever, There's some that are tinted also. So just be careful. What are they tinted with? I mean, I would, be curious about that, and see, are those ones that EWG actually recommends? So,
and if I find a way to create one, I will let you know. Sheri and I will be the first ones to test it, and then we'll let you know if it works.
Yeah, another thing to look for in your products, period, is parabens.
Yeah.
So if there are parabens, and there are a lot in the different sunscreens, BHA, BHT, preservatives. So take a look at that. Because your skin is your largest organ, and whatever you put on it is going in your body. So just think about that. If you're putting toxins on your body, it's going in your body. It's not keeping it out of your body. And it's not just necessarily something you can just sweat out, while you're at the beach. That's not going to happen.
Not at all.
It's going to go to your
they're finding it in your blood plasma. They're finding it in your breast milk. They're finding it in your urine. It's absorbing into your body.
Yeah, it's really scary. It really is. The other thing I heard somebody say too is like the UVA, UVB rays. SPF is generally for the UVB, and that's not your worst rays. It's the UVA. So it said look for more of a broad spectrum. So that's something you should think about if you're going to wear a sunscreen. I recommend you get to the point where you don't have to. So.
Right. And I will say, because I don't eat seed oils as a general rule, the days that I have gone out with Tyler and we've been on the beach, because we'll go for an hour to an hour and a half walk on the beach, I don't get burned. I have not. So we were in Arizona in May, and I got a sunburn that lasted a day or two. It never peeled, and it turned brown. And that, but that was also my first time being in the sun since we moved from Alaska. Since then, I have not burned again at all. So there's definitely something to what you're saying as far as the correlation, I believe, between eating seed oils and sunburn, because I haven't burned again at all.
And here's an example of why I think the sun is not really the one that's detrimental. So, and I think I've told this story before too, but you get to hear it again. I had 2 Labrador retrievers, and one of them actually got a cancer growth, skin cancer growth between her toes. How? She's not out in the sun with her toes like this. Okay. So how is she getting a skin cancer in between her toes? I don't think it's the sun. But it wasn't a basal cell. It was the second worst. It wasn't a melanoma. I can never think of the name of that one. I don't know why. But anyway, so we did end up having to get it removed from her because it kept growing. But I personally believe it was probably people spraying their yards, and she probably stepped in it at some point. And, you know, it's hard to keep, you know, them from stepping on things that are not, you know, non-toxic, because people spray their yards all the time.
Right.
Yeah. I don't, but yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just an example, you know, skin cancer, not necessarily the sun.
Yep. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So go get your daily sun.
So
and don't be afraid of it.
Do your research.
Yeah.
Don't believe us. Please research.
Definitely do your research. Yeah. We'll put some links in here too for you to go look at, and then you can dig further as far as you want. But we are of the mind that the sun is good. The sun is a gift from God, and the sun will not kill you with skin cancer. That is our belief. But seed oils, on the other hand, which are man-made, and you kind of have to wonder how many canola plants and how many sunflower seeds they are pressing to get that oil out. Those will definitely hurt you. So
yeah. And it's not so much that you can't eat sunflower seeds, or because they're fine. It's, you know, it's the fact that they're pressing it and now it's become rancid, and that's where the issue is. So,
and one of the sunscreen seeds was a hydrogenated castor oil, and we all know that castor oil is the big woohoo for skin right now, but hydrogenated means it's been chemically separated, and who knows what's actually mixed into it. So I would avoid anything hydrogenated too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I would say too, I do not believe that castor oil will cause you to sunburn, and here's why. I've been using it now for months. I get out of the shower, that's what I use. I do cut it with like an MCT oil, because I do have heard, and a particular person I know said that it would also take care of skin cancer, the MCT oil. So don't know, but he found it helped get rid of any skin cancers he had. So I'm using the two together to cut it, and I'm not burning. So
that's good to know. I make a face cream with castor oil that I'm going to be launching soon. Maybe I'll.
Yeah, I can't wait to try it. So, but yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Do your research.
Just gave me an idea. I'll talk to you about it when we in the video. Okay. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We'd love to know what you think about skincare, about sunscreen, about sun exposure, and give us your arguments or your testimonies in the comment section below, and we will be looking forward to hearing from you. Other than that, please remember to like, subscribe, share, and let us know your thoughts on any of our podcasts and what you'd like to hear in the future. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.